welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I apply the NARS Luminous Weightless Foundation. So if you'd like to see how I achieve this foundation look, then just keep watching. So to start off, make sure your skin is nicely prepped. So I just use a little bit of moisturizer, and then right before I use a little bit of like Release, because I really like that. And then give this a good shake. This foundation really needs to be shaken up or it just doesn't go on nicely. So you can prime your skin. I'm going to use the Makeup Forever one. I really like this one. I don't know if this is still available. It's at least not at Sephora right now because they've just redone their bases. So I don't know which is most similar. This actually looks great with just a moisturizer underneath too. You don't have to have a primer. So I'm going to start out just showing you how just one pump works. So one pump is really a little bit. I usually use two. The other thing is I typically use a white mixer with this. Some decided white, which I like better. I still think I like the Ilamasca Skin Base slightly better than the MAC Face and Body for this. But I'm going to show you with no mixer just so you can see how it looks straight out of the bottle. However, you will notice that it is a little too yellow for my face. This should be a good day to show it because I kind of switched up my skincare and my skin looked a little bit red because I left a mask on for a little too long. So this foundation I actually like to apply with just my fingers. So I work in really small areas and then just blend really well. I've tried quite a few different application methods. It works fine with a brush, it's not bad by any means, but I feel like fingers just really let this melt into the skin. So you can see this cheek compared to this cheek, it does quite a good job covering. So when applying foundation, there's kind of a lot of different opinions on where you apply it. First, a lot of people want to start in the center and blend outwards, which is kind of the rule of thumb. But for me, most of my discoloration is down here in my cheeks. So I always start with my cheeks. Okay, not always, but a lot of times. I don't know, I feel like it's best to basically go according to your skin where you need the most coverage. So that's going to be different for everyone. I do get some discoloration on my nose, especially on the edges, so I want to go there. But my forehead is actually pretty much always forehead colored, the color it should be. So I don't really put a lot of foundation there. So this is a way to apply this foundation to really let your natural skin shine through. This is one you can definitely build up, so I'll kind of show you that. So just apply a little to my chin area. Alright, at this point I'm going to kind of blend it down my neck just because this foundation is a little bit too dark for me. Well, it's not really too dark, it's more like too yellow. So you can see it's actually quite good for just one layer. Kind of show you how it can also, what it would look like if you took it all over. I typically don't put any foundation on my eyelids or under my eyes. I'll just put a primer on my eyelids and just corrector and concealer underneath. You can see it does an alright job in kind of the eye area using a really little bit. So now I'm going to show you how you can build it up because this is only one layer. As you can see, it does let my freckles show through. So it's claimed for kind of one drop. Full coverage, I don't know if I would say that's true. I mean, it covers up most of my redness, but you can still see my freckles through it. Most things that are full coverage won't let any skin show through, so we're gonna go with second drop. Really, I didn't buy this for the full coverage. I bought it because it wears so long. It also sets on its own pretty well. It's kind of nice because I don't usually go over with a setting powder with this. I just use just a finishing powder because I like to put a finishing powder on. You can also use like a beauty blender to blend this out. That works too. I just find that my fingers, like see how that gives kind of a weird texture? I feel like my fingers just work best for this. I did do a little bit of research on this and they do recommend fingers, but most NARS products actually are supposed to be applied with your hands. So as you can see, as I build this up, it's really covering up most of my freckles. And really discoloration in general. So now I do need to go over to my forehead because if we're going to cover my freckles, it would be weird if I didn't cover my forehead. So yeah, I do think you can do 1 drop for the entire face, but I don't think 1 drop is necessarily full coverage for your entire face. So that's basically what it looks like on. You can see it has a slight finish. It's like a skin-like finish. It says it's luminous. And your skin naturally has a luminosity, so I guess I can see that, but yeah, I really like this foundation. I think it sits really nice on my skin. So that's basically how I apply this. I'm going to go ahead and quickly show you how I conceal with it as well. So with this foundation, I don't have to do a whole lot to my skin. So I'm going to just take a little bit of the e.l.f.'s Brightening Peach, and I'm taking this on a Sigma Buff and Blend E39, and this has been my new like go-to way to do under eye concealing, and I've just been loving it. Really, like if I have a synthetic brush that's probably for eyeshadow, I've probably tried to use it under my eyes because I really like that. So I'm just taking my corrector and buffing it in right where I really need it, so I don't pull it very far. Just kind of in this inner corner and over. See, that already makes a huge difference, just like such dark circles. Before I go in with concealer, I like to prime my eyes when I'm using one that has like color to it. And lately I've been using the MAC Painterly Pink Pot. I've been debating getting, it's not yellow ochre, that's wrong. I don't know. They have one that's something ochre. And I've been debating getting that because Painterly's a little bit a little dark and a little pink for my skin. So I don't know if that would be better or not. If you guys know of a primer you love that has like color to it, that's neutral, let me know. I just like getting that done because then I feel like it kind of gives me the nice clean kind of canvas before I go in with makeup. So for under my eyes, I'm using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this is in the shade Chantilly. And I don't like using this part, I just put some on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to use that same brush. And we're just going to basically kind of tap it on. I know Sigma made this for eyeshadow, and I mean it works for eyeshadow too, but this just works so well for concealer. Don't really know why I would ever use it for eyeshadow. So I like to kind of apply it with that so I can get those really thin layers, but I do still tap it out with my finger because I do find that the warmth of your finger really lets it melt into the skin and give a much more, you know, skin-like look. And so now that I have like most of my concealing done, I do kind of like blend it out towards the edges of my eyes because I do have a little bit of darkness there, but not as much. Alright, so once I have my concealer, I think I need a little bit more right there. How much concealer I put over my corrector and how much corrector I apply really depends on the day. Because some days it's like I slept better, lately there's been allergies, so I've been putting on more. But now I'm just going to set my under eyes, and I'm using the Secret Brightening Powder by Mercier. And I use this on a not damp beauty blender. And I just really like to press that into the skin. If you've been like talking for a while or something and you find it creases, make sure you tap it out right before. But you shouldn't really have that problem if you're using a really little amount. I know a lot of people like highlight their eyes, and there's some people that just pile on the concealer. I just don't find that that's as like useful. So I'd rather do a couple really thin layers and use like the powder and call it a day. I think that's looks the most like skin. Then I'll just take that same concealer just over here and go right around my nose. Because I do find that I still get some redness from my nose even with this foundation. And you can see I have a little blemish there and a little blemish there. And like you can see the foundation does a good job on covering it, but it doesn't completely cover it. So if I want a super flawless look, I'm going to cover it. So I'm just searching for a brush. Okay, so for blemishes, I like to use a stick concealer. I could do a tutorial kind of on how I pick concealers and correctors if you'd like. But really I go for something that's a little more emollient for under my eyes and kind of like larger red areas. For concealers, I like something that's a little stiffer. I think that does a better job concealing. And I just take it on an eyeliner brush. This is a eyeliner EO5 by Sigma, and I'm just going to basically cover right where the blemish is. And then I'll use my finger to just like gently tap. My blemishes kind of sit and they just kind of get red. If this was like an angry blemish or it was like gross, even with these ones, but especially if you have one that's like a larger blemish or one that you like picked at or something, make sure you're washing your hands right after. I also use this only for blemish concealing, this brush in particular, and I'll wash it before I do something else, just because you don't want to spread that to the rest of your face. I have a little bit of hyperpigmentation in kind of this area. So I'll basically just kind of dot where I need it, and I find that that works best. So at this point I've pretty much concealed everything I want to conceal. You can still slightly see freckles through, but I like my freckles, so that's not something I'm going to worry about. At this point, you could powder if you wanted. I don't find that I really need a powder with this foundation, but I do like to use a finishing powder just because I like the way it looks. And this is the Hourglass Ethereal Light setting powder. Not setting powder, it's like a finishing powder. So I'm just going to lightly dust this all over my face. I'm using a Hokuhodo B5521. If you do have a lot of spot concealing to do, or they're much more like raised and puffy than mine, I would definitely set your concealer. You can use pretty much whatever powder you want for that, but I would definitely set your concealer if you have a lot of concealing that you need to do. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I do to wear this foundation. And I'm going to go ahead and put some makeup on. Alright, I hope you guys found that helpful. It's a pretty easy foundation to apply. Like I said, find that my fingers work best. You can definitely apply it with a brush, but it doesn't set quite as nicely on the skin, and I feel like you need to use a little more product. Beauty blenders also would be probably my second best choice. Obviously, you want to use them damp, but again, it doesn't look quite as nice on the skin. It tends to sit a little more on top if you use your fingers. It really melts into the skin and looks a lot more like skin. Probably wouldn't say that you get that one for your entire face. It would say 2 for your entire face and getting a full coverage. Anyhow, if you tried this foundation, let me know what your thoughts are on it. Also, if you are someone that has to mix foundation, what foundation formulation have you found mixes best with this foundation? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments box below. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys on the next one.